seconds remaining.
And we're back. Game number 2 of our front-end series of this Team Liquid doubleheader. Fnatic trailing 0-1 as of right now. And Liquid continues to just look damn sharp. And they managed to get their hands on the Visage once again. Visage, played by Waytu, he just finds money. He's one of those, he's like the old guys who walk around the beaches with the metal detectors and occasionally find rare coins or something. He always has money on that hero and is always very effective on that hero, more so than anything. Murano will be the second pickup, going against Fnatic's front two, Venomancer and the denied pick in the Clockwork, not wanting to give that hero away to Bulba. To help break down the draft and, of course, lend his insight and analysis as he has so adeptly throughout the entire D2L Season 4 season so far. Welcome in once again, Ben Merlini-Wu. And I mean, we kind of touched on it a bit down the stretch and towards the end of Game 1, Ben. What Liquid does and what has allowed them to have so much success so far is they just kind of punish you. They don't play an ultra-aggressive style most of the time. They don't try too many gimmicks. They don't try too much of anything except to say, okay, we're going to farm our carry. We're going to stay stable. We're going to roam and try to take opportunities when they're there. But more than anything, we're going to get you to overcommit. And when you do, we're going to walk away with a 4-for-1, 3-for-1 trade. And that's how they have built their lead so far throughout the entire Season 4. And really sitting at 4-1 in the standings, now just one game away from improving to 5-1 with only one series left. This has just been the winning recipe for them.
Been so patient, I think is the right word. They're just very, very patient. They know exactly when to farm and when to strike, when to counter gank, and they also are really good at splitting up around the map. They usually just let TC do his own thing, Koipa do his own thing, and Bulba do his own thing, but the supports will always come in when they need to, just at the right place, at the right time, almost all the time, which is just incredible play out of them. You can tell that their teamwork is just really spot on, and they've been practicing together for many, many weeks. And, you know, I was a little bit concerned for their roster issues after the departure of a couple of their players, but I mean, Koipa is just such a good pickup for them.
Yeah, Koipa, I think most of us recognize that as one of the most highly valuable young free agents on the market following the conclusion of TI 2013. I mean, there were a few. There was him, MSS, a player that we've talked a lot about, and as he continues to develop with EG. Koipa's just on a different level, though, in terms of all of the young talent that is making its debut here in the closing months of 2013. And a lot of that has to do with the experience he found with Mouse last year. I mean, the young man, and if I'm not mistaken, he's still 17. I mean, he is very, very young. But he played in a lot of situations, had a lot of experience right out the gate. I mean, basically went from a complete unknown to playing on stages like DreamHack, playing on stages like, the D2L Season 3 finals, played at the International, of course. So, I mean, he's a guy who went from being a relative unknown to just having a wealth of experience, making huge connections in the community, and certainly learning a lot around the way. And Team Liquid landing him really has been just a major factor in what they've been able to do so early on. And what's even more fun is whenever you factor in how much experience Bulba and Fluff particularly have, TC as well. Waytu has a pretty solid background coming from Dignitas. This is an experienced squad now with this young player who's developing so well. As they begin to gel, barring any kind of breakdown in terms of stability or what have you, they're just going to be a real contender coming out of the West. And I think, and when I say real contender, I don't mean like, oh, they'll have a chance to place top 3. Like, looking ahead to the future, it's hard to imagine any team in the West that they couldn't at least take a series off of on any given day. So the draft has continued with the Invoker being added to the front two of Fnatic. We talked a bit about that, and Hani, I'll let you talk specifically about that Invoker pick, as you touched on it in Game 1 when we didn't see it. But Liquid going to go ahead and grab Bulba the Beastmaster as well.
That's the thing. Like, what do you really ban out versus Liquid? They ban like their first 3 bans were heroes that we just saw last game, but Visage, they're very comfortable with. Bulba has a pretty good Beastmaster, although I definitely think his Elder Titan is one of his best heroes, and they do like the Brana pickup too. I think this is a little bit weaker than last game, so I think Fnatic should have drafted a slightly better last game, but you definitely can't call last game an outdraft. That was just certainly outplayed by them. Fnatic just going back to what they know, going with the Clockwork for Trixie, going with the Invoker for Hani. We see the Undying. It's like okay for them. I don't really like it too much, but they seem to have somewhat decent success with it.
Yeah, the Undying pick certainly gives them a little bit more mid-game punch, can make them a little bit of a handful in lane for sure. And already, though, from Liquid, this again kind of fits into what I said in Game 1, and they've always been this way. whenever it comes to how they've drafted, especially with Fluff and TC together and Bulba as well. They don't mind picking a thin lineup. Very often when teams are in a position either trailing a game or even in a situation like this where Liquid just wants to get a win, wants to walk away with the 2-0. And, even factors like I'm sure they would enjoy a little bit of downtime between series just to relax and to pregame and to prep a bit for their next series coming up against Mouse. It's very tempting to just go, okay, we're going all-out team fight and just pick a 5-man team fight team that will win or lose by 30. But this is another surgical kind of lineup. Visage, very great. Mirana, we've talked a lot throughout the season about the way that hero's handled. There's a Lone Druid pickup for Koikva. I touched on that during the lineup run-throughs and the pregame show. But, picking up Koikva, same thing, though. You got a lot of single-target DPS coming out of Visage, Mirana, and Lone Druid in various ways. Beastmaster, single-target initiation, not a ton of AoE as of right now. But Liquid just seems okay with running lineups like that. They just really don't mind because they're so confident and their ability to execute, not just early on, but as the game gets deeper and deeper, in terms of using that surgical precision instead of a shotgun style when it comes to out-executing an opponent like they did in Game 1.
Fnatic's just going to have to change their playstyle too. They concentrate too much on the early roam. They sometimes just need to take a step back and passively farm. And they don't necessarily have the lineup to do it right now. But if they pick a very hard carry like Alchemist, like a Gyrocopter, then the options are open to them. So I would like to see them maybe take a step back on the early aggression just because Liquid was so prepared for it last game with the early Observer Wars, with the rotation from the Vengeful Spirit too. So I think Fnatic just needs to be a little bit less predictable.
Well, they've got the chance to grab up the Lifestealer now if they want it. Don't know that it would be the wisest choice against this team with two heroes that already deal very well with that pick. Beastmaster with the Roar and Lone Druid, of course, with Root. And at this point, it might just be hard carry time. Nope, they're going to grab it anyway. And I feel like that's pretty damn ballsy. They have Clockwork as a vehicle for Nyx bombs, and that's all well and good. They're going to have a lot of AoE potential coming out of Undying, certainly with the Tombstone Decay, his ultimate, of course, and what it lends to an early team fight once he hits 6. Invoker, depending on how he builds. But still going to have a lot of AoE potential at the very least out of him, even if he does go with a Quas Exort build. Venomancer, certainly we know what he can do in an AoE. But the Lifestealer in particular, again, just feels very, very chancy to me. You've got two really nice ways to lock him down, and once he's down, the others are not going to be that hard to clean up.
Lifestealer, I'm surprised that Liquid didn't ban it out. I think that's much scarier than, let's say, an anti-mage, but... hopefully they have solutions for it. I mean, they do have Beastmaster for it, which is maybe they kind of like baited the Lifestealer pick. And again, the Weaver coming out for TC. Like, he's played Weaver so many times, and it's just been so effective at shutting down heroes like Lifestealer in the off lane, even, that I'm just surprised that they don't either draft around it, which is just ban it. Like, I don't know. What do you ban versus Liquid, though? They try to ban 3 of the same heroes as last game. This game is just... Liquid has a very, very strong lineup too. Yeah,
and it's kind of developing out that Koikva's kind of a bulldog type. He's got two extremely strong heroes in particular, in the Prophet and the Druid. Doesn't mean that's all he can run, but you can't ban them both, or if you do, you just free up everything else Liquid wants. And if you don't ban them both, you're usually going to have him end up getting picked for one. And TC, by the way, back on the Weaver for the second game in a row, we saw, if you were paying attention to the stats in Game 1, very nice win percentage for Weaver against Lifestealer in competitive play. So just aside from hero abilities and player abilities on heroes, just a nice matchup across the board that most professional teams have found a nice way to abuse. And, it makes sense. The escapability makes open wounds kind of a null factor. Having time lapse, even if you do get stunned out, gives you that extra bit of survivability. And given how burst intensive a Lifestealer is, needing really to rage in and get most of his damage done there before he becomes susceptible without the magic immunity, Weaver's just a tough matchup for him. So we'll see if Era's Lifestealer can have a slightly better performance than in Game 1. And again, he's one of the best in the West on the hero, so it's not as if he's out of his comfort zone. Just really the play from Liquid was that good in Game 1. Before the horn sounds, we'll take a run through the lineups. TC, as mentioned, we'll be back on the Weave with Koikva handling our Lone Druid. He's down near the safe lane. Mirana will be played by Fluff. I love this, by the way, a pure support Mirana. I feel like this is one of the best ways to maximize her utility. She can find some farm, can split push if needed, but just use her abilities. Don't worry so much about trying to make her into some kind of a carry unless it just happens on its own. Bulba will be taking the Beastmaster into mid with a Visage, once again played by Waytu, one of his most successful heroes in general, especially here in the D2L Season 4. Other side of the river, we see Fly going to be handling our Undying. They'll be in a tri-lane at top with No Tail on the Veno, and Era once again farming up the Lifestealer. Clockwork, once again played by Trixie, but in mid, this time it's going to be Hani's Invoker, who has gone first point in Exort.
And they really need a lot of mileage out of Hani this game. He did the best he could last game, so I think the supports need to pick it up a little bit too on the side of Fnatic. They already are on top. We see the Venomancer and Fly trying to secure Era's farm, but I mean, it's a triple range lane, and Liquid does like to run this, especially with Fluff's support run, like we talked about earlier. And Fluff has just been really good with the arrows, and I normally don't see Mirana on the support role play to such great effect, but he seems to do a very good job of it. Looks like he is blocking the spawn right now, so they have managed to block the 30-second and the 1-minute spawn, which is pretty good for them. Unfortunately, they did see Fluff move up with the Observer Ward. I don't actually know if they have Sentry Wards of their own. Looks like Venomancer has one. He has to go all the way around to kill that ward, though.
Yep, poking his nose around as of right now. That's a little bit of extra experience going the way of Fnatic. We can see Era sitting on 2 CS to 5-0. For TC, so already he's off to a pretty nice start there in that top lane. We'll keep the camera there for the most part just because some hostilities very likely to break out here in mid. Bulba's actually atop the CS sitting at 6-4. Invoker at just 2-0, so Hani already getting bullied around a bit by Bulba's Beastmaster. And Bulba's Beastmaster really is a little bit underrated, I think. You just don't see the Beastmaster come out that much in general, let alone on Bulba in particular, just because of how specialized he is and what he brings to Team Liquid. But when it does, he just knows how to run the hero, both as a solo and a very effective mid. And an over-leveled, over-farmed Beastmaster, if he gets off to a good start, avoids ganks in particular, he can get up some very nice items. An early Blink Dagger could be a huge difference maker against the lineup like Fnatic's running right now. And just how quickly he tanks up is honestly kind of surprising most of the time.
Yeah, Bulba's CS is absolutely ridiculous right now. 11-5. Compared to Hani's 5-1, and yeah, Invoker does have a little bit of a disadvantage at the early levels because he doesn't have that much exhort. But I mean, right now he has 51 base with exhort. He should have around 60, and that's the 66 from Beastmaster. So Bulba just playing very well this early. Looks like Fluff is trying to leech some experience. But now Fnatic does have the double stack, so their laning phase is going much better than last game already. Their tri-lane is their Era's on par with farm on TC this game. They are managing to pull instead of running around and pretty much doing nothing with Lion for the first few minutes of the game. So it's very important for them to not fall behind early because Liquid is just really good at snowballing out of control and just drawing people around the map when they have an advantage.
Bulba actually stacking up the camp here just to the south, so another nice source of experience when he starts to spam the axes. There's a Gale on the TC, but we'll be able to Shikuchi away pretty safely. Sentry Ward did go down there, but a couple of them down right now from Fnatic, so making this a little bit more difficult to challenge, but for the most part, all things going quite well for Liquid. Bulba and Koikva leading the way in CS. Era has caught back up the TC in terms of farm, so they have that going for them at the very least. Some of that has been pull camp creep, so and now that the lane is shoved back out, could be a little bit more complicated once again. So we'll see if Liquid can continue their dominance. And there's going to be a Gale onto Fluff. Fluff has leap, just level 1, going to run for the river and make it down to the bottom. So nice Gale from No Tail, but no way to follow it up.
Bottom desperately needs level 2 so she can contribute something besides taking a few spells. Koifa on bottom is actually not doing as well as I expected versus Trixie. 17-5 on the Lone Druid and 11-2 on Trixie, but that was before level 5, and Trixie is level 4.5, so he's been suffering in terms of experience. They might try and go for a kill in middle. Clockwork is invis, but he is just so low. Like if he gets axed and right-click once, he is dead. So they have to just be really spot on with the execution. If he had a flask or a bottle, he would be in tip-top shape for this gank, but looks like he's just going to run home with it. And they did see him pick it up with his Observer Ward on bottom.
Yep. Koikva, going to get some uncontested free farm. Certainly not something you want to give away if you can help it. In the meantime, Fnatic just trying to continue to use the pull camp as best as they can. They are doing a fair job of denying Liquid a little bit of farm here. So TC sitting at 15 CS, the Era 17. and he's beginning to play catch-up. Now, this is important. This is really a problem they had in Game 1. We saw how effectively Liquid bullied him around and kept him down farm-wise, and then once they started taking kills, taking fights, taking towers and such, there was no way for him to catch up. If they can keep him on par in farm and in terms of levels, he can be a factor. That was a big problem they had as well, loading him up into Hani's puck and trying to make things happen that way. Ended up wasting a lot of his time. That's probably not going to be even an option, let alone something that they would even want to explore, even if they could. There's an arrow.
Goes out on top.
Yep, Sacred Arrow will swing a little bit wide there. And now Fluff going to be forced to leap again with the open wounds. There's the Gale and the Sunstrike. Nice shot as Hani, with the long-range artillery, able to draw first blood. Good start for Fnatic.
Way two in mid.
Way two. And Bulba going to work on Hani. Hani doesn't have a single point in the Wex, so he will be right-click down. No QQ walk for him, so an immediate reprisal bringing down the Invoker.
Yeah, that's just a much more important kill for Liquid, getting that kill on Invoker. And yeah, sure, Fnatic did get first blood, but I think Liquid definitely came out on top there. And Way 2, he's on his good start to that 20 whatever minute AC plus Ag Scepter. Trixie desperately needs level 6. He's just a little over 5 right now. Lone Druid is almost 2 levels higher than him at this point, and that's going to be a problem. And Koikba on his Lone Druid, he has 1400 gold. He does have his Hand of Midas recipe if he wants to buy it right now, and that is going to be a problem. And again, we see Fnatic with the same issue. Who do you try and keep down on Liquid? Do you try and keep down TC? Do you try and keep down Bobo in mid so he doesn't just gank the crap out of you? Or do you try and kill Koikba so he doesn't get a 15-minute Midas and Radiance? And I mean, the decision for Fnatic is, I think, just try and secure farm and air and try and keep TC down as much as possible. Looks like they're doing that right now, but I don't actually know how effective that's going to be, because that's the thing. When TC gets under farm, Koikba will pick up the slack and vice versa.
Yeah, and I mean, we just saw a remarkable statistic popped up, by the way, and usually try not to talk about them, just let them supplement the cast, but this one in particular is so worth mentioning. Way 2 has won 10 straight games on Visage so far. 10 straight games he's won. And only lost a handful. He's something like 15-2, I think is what it said, since TI3 on the year. So, yeah, ban the Visage. I'd say that's a good plan. I mean, he's just so good. And, we joke about it, but he just always manages to end up being atop the board in terms of kills. He always manages to get the early items his team needs. Scepter plus Assault Cuirass really is his favorite way to build, and he's already 1-0. So Midas now done at 7.5 minutes coming out on Koikva. That's an excellent start for him as well.
And Bulba letting Fluff catch up in levels in mid. And I think that's a very good decision, because Bulba already had a creep stack. He was able to just double axe and get a ton of experience that way. And Fluff just needs levels badly. Even Moonlight Shadow is going to be very effective for them, trying to escape from Clockwork ganks, trying to escape from... we see a 3-man smoke on bottom. Hani trailing Fly and No Tail.
Yep, they're going to try to dive out Way 2 and Koikva. And this is a big opportunity for them. Bringing these two heroes down would be huge. Let's see if Liquid can respond.
Out.
And Way 2 immediately heads for the trees. That's not Koikva. There's the hook from Trixie. Sunstrike's going to be there, but Bulba there, fresh in, roars out Trixie. He's cleaned up. Now the counter initiation. No Tail being pursued by Bulba. He should be killed off and will be. In the meantime, the rest of Fnatic forced to scatter elsewhere. Fly and Hani both heading back
Arrow
out.
Going out.
Whoa, nice sidestep from Hani. That probably would have sealed his fate, as we saw Bulba making his way around as well. But, yep. And again, just like Game 1, this is what Liquid does. Liquid says, okay, we're just going to play. We're going to take the easy opportunities you give us. But when you overstep yourself even a little, if we spot it out, we're going to react in force. And just like that, it's now 3-1. They lost a couple of very important heroes. And they more than anything, they lost time. They lost the time they could have been trying to protect Error, trying to hold down TC. And Liquid, after that, look at the gold lead. Coming up again on 2,000 at just 9 minutes in. The experience actually even higher at just about +3.
Yeah, they're like Liquid is the ones forcing the opponents to run around, to smoke, to come to them, and they're just so good at reacting to it too. Like when Hani's not farming mid, they know something's up, and Koikva sent his bear out to scout. his suspicions were confirmed, and they were able to react accordingly. They could have killed TC on top, but that's just a very low probability gank. They have to pretty much land a hook shot and then kill him inside of it, because they have really nothing else to lock him down with. Maybe like a cold snap, but he can still just time lapse and Shikushi away from that. So they need like a couple of heroes for that. And even with the hook shot, it's not guaranteed if he gets a time lapse off in time. See Bulba smoked up with on top with Fluff. That is going to be an easy kill if they manage to hit the arrow on Hani, but he can use a Force Spirit to block it out.
Yep, there's the roar, the arrow, and easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And, not a single point in a Wex, even if he had been able to spot it, couldn't have been able to QQ walk. This is just Liquid Dota, man. And I am so impressed with the way that they have put it together. I mean, a lot of teams, even Fnatic to an extent, like this is the same 5 they've had for more than a year. And very, a lot of cohesion in this team. And
arrow on fly in middle.
Yep, the Axes follow it up. A couple of auto attacks, one soul assumption, down it goes. Trixie's looking for a hook, can't find it because of the zombies. Nup, thought about throwing it, and will finally catch up with Wei2. Wei2 being forced back. Bulba's there, he'll be cogged in. Wei2, it will end up dead. Bulba runs into the cogs on accident. Arrow's there, Moonlight Shadow as TC looks to counter initiate. And might pursue up to the high ground, doesn't look like he will. So Fnatic do manage to trade a couple away at the very least. 5-3 as the dust settles. Down at bottom, though, guess who's been free farming and didn't have to show up at all? And guess who has 2,600 gold towards a relic at 10 and 11 minutes in on top of that Midas? His name's Koikva. That is a very big bear that's going to be getting bigger and bigger as the game wears on.
Even though Liquid traded 1 for 2 in that, they still got the upper hand on that because Koikwa was farming and they still got the tower and they only lost 2 supports, none of their important heroes. And Bobo's going to have like a really fast scepter himself. Like, look at his farm. He has boost bottle, point booster, and an Ogre Club and Staff of Wizardry. Just needs a Blade of Lacquery, so 750 gold until that. And then once they have that, as well as the Radiance on Bear, the Lone Druid is just going to be such a world of pain for Fnatic. What items do they have coming out? They just have a Drums Up on Life Stealer that just came out, so no big item from him for a while. Undying, and like Venomancer doesn't even have boots right now. Clockwork, not even treads. Invoker, not even close to his Orchid that he likes to go. I'm not really sure if he's going to go Orchid this game. Probably not, I would hope, because TC almost always gets BKB on his Weaver, but we will see how that works out for them. And Fnatic, they really need to defend their towers right now, and Liquid's just doing this thing where they have TC in one lane, Quickfoot in another lane, and they'll react to how Fnatic moves, and if you don't do anything, they'll just push down your towers.
Yep, Koikva, 3,300 gold. He's 500 gold away from a relic after his Midas at just 12 minutes in. He is gigantic.
Trixie from behind.
Will be hooked out. Bulba's just to the south of him, but looks like, no, he is going to come back in. Roars out, Trixie throws the axes. Wei2 will end up dropping, but will they be able to get the return kill? Undying drop the tombstone. TC's going to pursue it out. There's the Poison Nova. And Trixie, 1 auto attacks there. The arrow is actually off the mark from Fluff. TC ends up dying, trying to escape out. The damage over time just too much for him to survive through. So another solid trade coming out of Fnatic, trading TC and Wei2. Just trading away the Clockwork to get those 2. But in the meantime, Koikva continues to be large and in charge. He already took the tier 1. He's already pushing through to the tier 2, and he will force a reaction.
Yeah, look at his gold right now. 4,300 gold. And, arrow will connect on No Tail.
And here in mid, nice counter initiate. Follow up with the Starfall, Starstorm, following the arrow, managing to get the kill. And Wei2 looking for some bloody revenge, unable to catch up.
Didn't even get the tower either. Bulba's going to be able to deny it. Oh, man, that's such a bad trade for Fnatic.
Yep. And looks like Fnatic will go ahead and retreat, at least for the moment. I do want to clarify something, by the way. I'd do it without thinking it. Nahaz being very, very kind and popping up, hang on, Trixie, spots out Fluff. And doing a lot of damage. Okay, Fluff. Just basically got sidestepped completely by Trixie. Bit of a lapse and, a bit of a brain fart there as he gets cleaned up for free. Well played by Trixie. But QQ walk, there was a nice explanation said for newer players. That's just a phrase that a best friend of mine used to use whenever we were first learning Dota together. He liked to play Invoker, and I think it's just the most appropriate name. Like QQ is in, quick crying, whatever. QQ walk whenever you pop it to try to run away. Just a phrase that I've been using forever from him. So that's why I call it that, and I'll probably always call it that because of my good friend. And thanks to Nahaz again for explaining why. It also works well because the QQW is, of course, what you use to invoke it. Anyway, down at bottom, Fnatic looking to take another tier 1 up atop, though. TC doing some damage as well. There's going to be a couple. Fluff and Bulba moving up. Let's see how many Fnatic's in home.
TC unfortunately is a little bit underfarmed. When he TP'd to that fight mid, he didn't actually have enough mana for time lapse. So I think he was just a little bit too gung-ho there. They also had Sentry Wards down there for him, but luckily for him, the carrying burden is not on him. They do have an FS bomb inside.
Oh, Bulba took the bait. Here comes the big response. Gets the roar off, but cleaned up with the Sunstrike. The familiars get a little bit of stunnage done. TC did manage to make it away, as did Way2 and Fluff. Oh, Leap barely dodges the Gale. Really nice play, and this is the Fnatic that I think we're all used to seeing. Fnatic, a team that really relies on their movement as 5, their experience as a 5-man squad tends to show in a lot of ways. And Liquid has flat out outmaneuvered them, but we're now tied up in kills 7-7 on the back of them finally beginning to put together that cohesion that we're so used to seeing, really putting this composition through its paces here in the mid game. But
there's a Moonlight Shadow coming out.
Arrow will connect on No Tail. And let's see if they want to engage. TC shows his face. Fluff moves in, runs into the cogs. Down goes the Tombstone. No Tail actually dies to the tower. Here's a Sunstrike. Will do some damage to Bulba. Roar on the Fly. Arrow's there as well. Radiance is finished on Koikva in the meantime. And now Fly caught out, hit with the Soul Assumption, but not enough. Arrow dodge. Nice little sidestep from him. But Fluff not done. One auto attack plus the Starstorm enough to bring him down. So Fnatic just overstaying their welcome and feeding back too. That's twice they've done that. When they came out ahead and just overextended a bit in terms of trying to take towers, they end up giving away more than they took.
They need to place a Sentry Ward under the tower against Moonlight Shadow, and Liquid totally made use of the fact that they, in fact, did not. And we're just able to walk up Arrow and, Beastmaster with the Scepter 2. That range is just so long on that 950 cast range, and looks like they're in a little bit of a pickle on top, but Liquid will back off. They actually do have Roar back up again. They have almost all their cooldowns except for Moonlight Shadow.
Yep. And Scepter up on Bulba. And again, this is what we were talking about. Just how much a well-farmed and over-leveled Beastmaster can take a game over. There's Arrow. Wasn't even the target of the Roar. It was actually Hani's Invoker. He's going to be engaged upon. Arrow will split the wickets. And now Liquid just wants to get out of trouble. Koikva is there, trying to get something done. Fluff could be in some trouble. We saw a very nice poison over there. There's a hook in from Trixie coming through the woods. And getting a kill on the bear here, quite a big deal. Down he goes. And another nice win going the way of Fnatic so far. They'll get at least 2 as Way2 will be cleaned up. Arrow's going to work on Bulba. No, the cold snap knocks him out of the TP. That's what they needed more than anything. They get 3 for nil, and they get the tower. Gold was getting to unreasonable heights a bit at about plus 5,000 for Liquid, but Fnatic not letting this game get away from them the way Game 1 did. They turn it around, and they're going to push on through the Tier 2.
That was just not a good roar by Bulba. Bulba with his second roar like up on top. He's just playing too aggressively, just needs to wait for someone to overextend, wait for someone to get gone on and counter initiate with it, or just roar the Lifestealer while he's raged. But letting Koikva and his bear die like that, it's just a very big turnaround for Fnatic.
And now being zoned out, Fnatic not about to make the same mistake. They actually got the kill on the tower as well. The deny attempt was there, but Liquid mistiming it. So 9-10. They take 2 towers off of that set of engagements. And this is a much more competitive game compared to Game 1. We could see Era at 18 minutes in, already basically where he was at about 25, 26 minutes in Game 1 with his phase, his drums, and his armlet done, as well as the Orb of Venom. They're going to smoke out.
They might do Roshan. No, he doesn't have Force Spirits invoked. But yeah, Trixie from behind scouting that. They do have a Blade Mail, and they are going to be able to see what's going on here. And Liquid should not be taking 5-on-5s right now. They have the better split push. They have the better late game too. And looks like Koikva is going to get cogged.
Cogged in. Rest of the team's on the way. Trixie pops a Blade Mail. Era can't even get in to do damage, but they're going to be able to drop him for free. The arrow came in and got a no. Actually, that hit the Lifestealer, so no stun available. The Golden Roshan needs to get back home.
Blocked.
Very nice play by No Tail, dropping this ward to prevent his path of escape here. So big win going Fnatic's way once again, and now they're going to duck towards the Roche pit. And in they go. The Hawk will spot it. If they're going to challenge it, they need to do so soon. TC, though, just continuing to split push, working on a BKB. Only has the Mithril Hammer so far. Just such a different look here in Game 2, and Fnatic just playing much more confidently, I feel.
Yeah, their smoking was just really spot on, and they might try and jack it with the familiars. They do scout it out with a rocket, but if they roar him and then push everyone out, it's gonna be really bad.
And there it is. And Visage denied it. Oh, Way2 got it. Visage denied that at that Aegis. Very well done by this guy right here, showing why he's won 10 straight. Great teamwork there. Bulba using the roar to disjoint the pickup, and Way2 getting the deny.
Yeah, really nicely played by them. And TC, meanwhile, has, wow, and already a sheepstick on Hani. My goodness.
Hani looking much better this time around. TC continues to split push. He's actually going straight Deso. Saw the Mithril Hammer, thought he might want to get up a BKB against this team, but not going to be the case. And just going to go straight damage and Way2. I'm not sure if he knew that was coming or if that was just dumb luck. Just basically stopped walking, and the hook missed into the dark because he stopped walking.
Well, yeah, TC, I mean, with his Deso, is he really going to be able to do that much? I don't know. They don't really have that much control for team fights aside from the Beastmaster Roar, and they're just so dependent on that for team fights, and it's really just not enough at this point.
12-9, Fnatic has taken the kill lead. Taking a look at where the gold graph has settled out after the loss of those two towers and bringing down Roshan. Fnatic certainly has this back to a close game. About 1,200 gold, their advantage for Liquid. The experience just about as close to dead even as you could possibly ask. And now this is the question. So far, they've gotten very little out of Koikva. His farm was amazing. His Radiance came out at a very nice time. But he's been picked off through very nice movement. The smokes and response is certainly very nice from Fnatic. But at some point, Koikva is going to be in the right position, and they're going to have to try to account for that. They're going to smoke out again, though.
Lifestealer just eats his bear up alive, though.
Yep.
And I think they could, like, split push pressure just because Fnatic has been 5-manning so much. It looks like they're wrapping around. This is going to be bad.
And coming up, they're going to catch Bulba. There's the open wounds. He's going to turn. And nope, didn't get the roar off. He was hexed first. There goes the dust. And Way2 going to try to TP away. Will not be able to make it as he's knocked out of his TP by Hani's Invoker. Koikva made it to the high ground. He's still safe. The Moonlight Shadow might have mitigated some of the damage, but once again, they lose 2 unanswered. Deso done on TC, and Liquid's just going to have to start getting the jump on Fnatic instead of vice versa. Fnatic is flat out outmaneuvering them. That's the only way to say it.
Yeah, they haven't been able to put enough pressure on the side lanes. Like, Lone Druid is usually very good at that, but when you have to join them as 5, the Radiance build is just not that effective, especially when they have so much burst.
We saw the attempted hook from Trixie. Came up short. He does have the Lifestealer inside. They're going to go ahead and take down one of only 2 outer tier towers remaining. Up at top, we can say Koikva is trying to split push. We'll be able to get some damage done to the tower, but the response will come swiftly, I'm sure. And Fnatic will be able, yep, they decide to go ahead and fortify that out. And let's see what they want to do. There's an arrow shot point blank into a creep by Fluff. And Fluff's kind of had some up and down plays, made some nice plays, and had some goofy ones.
Yeah, I think Liquid needs a Ghost Scepter on their important heroes, or on even their support heroes, like Visage, as well as the Beastmaster, and or a Forceps, just so they can get someone away from the Lifestealer Bomb, from the Venomous scale. That is just becoming a really big problem for them. And Weaver also needs defensive items. He has 1,000 HP, and if he gets sheeped, he's dead. If he and that's pretty much all they need to lock him down.
Gem now picked up by No Tail, so they're going to be able to try to put Liquid in the dark. And we can already see that process beginning. And 2 towers remaining for Fnatic, only 1 still standing for Liquid. So the tower is pretty close to even. The gold still hovering in Liquid's favor, but just barely. Right now, a lot of and the thing about Liquid is almost all of their gold is concentrated on Koikva. TC's got a decent amount of farm, but the Invoker, played by Hani, is certainly in good shape. He's got 2,000 gold aside from that Scythe of Ice. And Era in a much better position now. It's already picked up his Hyperstone. Looks like he's going to want to go for an Assault Cuirass up the top.
TC might get hooked.
Yep. Oh. TC caught with the Gale. And there's a Sunstrike. Ooh. Does a lot of damage, unable to bring him down, and he's just going to TP away. Oh, no! Venomancer actually gets the kill with the damage over time. So TC ends up dropping once again. Certainly a nice pick-off for Fnatic.
Wow, he just underestimated the damage of the Venomous Scale. He could have easily time walked and Shikuchi'd away, and Venomacer would have been probably able to hit him, but he would have at least gotten that pure damage from Sunstrike off of him. And yeah, Weaver not going defensive items is just really not paying off for him. And I mean, he almost always does get Lincoln's or BKB. I'm very surprised that he did not this game.
BKB will be the second item choice, as we see, has added the Ogre Club. 2,500 gold currently in the bank of Koinkfa, with the Bear still sitting on the same items he's had for quite some time. They just really have to get more out of him. Once again, though, Fnatic, I love the way they're playing this, Merlini. They know that if they allow Liquid to get the jump, they do have the advantage between Moonlight Shadow, between Koinkfa's Bear.
Another smoke use from Fnatic. Yep. Yeah, and the Blade Mail on Trixie's doing a lot of work, too. Like, usually when you hook shot a Bear.
Blown up, caught out with Hani's Scythe. He's down for good. Heard the arrow. Let's see. Didn't see where it actually went. But Fnatic, again, just continues to outmaneuver Liquid. They're doing a fantastic job of making sure that every fight that takes place here in the second half of this game is taking place on their terms. And it's hard to believe we're just 25 minutes in. Feels like a much longer game. Up at top,
Trixie gets hit by Aurora.
There's the Blade Mail up, and unable to catch up with him. There's a Soul Rip to get him back into fighting shape. Bear's going to end up dropping, so a free 300 gold. And even there, Liquid misses an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, this is the Scepter Rush on Beastmaster. It's like okay, but like it's really good if you can use it often. But he hasn't been able to use it often because the 5-man fights are usually just like Fnatic just rolling them by storm. Like if you're constantly on the aggressive, just like roaring, killing, then it's really nice. But if you like, he needs like drums, Vlad's, mech, they need any of those items up on their team right now. They finally have the mech arm run up, but it's coming out a little bit too late because a Fnatic 5-man came out way earlier than Liquid expected, and now they're trying to farm up their 5-man items. CC trying to get his BKB and stuff like that, but the damage has already been done at this point. And had that Aegis deny not happened, Liquid would have potentially lost a T3 by now.
Yep. And the mech's actually not far away at all now for Fnatic either. Hani has taken on a passenger as Era infests in. He's got a haster and he's going to go hunting for a target. And looks like they might be able to find a couple.
They will see him though with the Observer Ward on top. That was not dewarded, and Way2 will get out of there. And it looks like Koinkfa probably will too.
Koinkfa hanging around for the moment. Yep, we'll go ahead and TP out, and they're going to be unable to find him in time. Tornado was on mark. They saw him with the rocket flare from Trixie as well, but just a little too quick.
They should have been doing this a while ago, just like drawing Fnatic around the map as 4 or 5, and then just TPing out and split pushing the lanes. They have good vision for it with the Visage Birds, with the Lone Druid Bear, with the Beastmaster Hawk, but like ever since the gem has come out, they really haven't been able to do that much, and I'm surprised that they're dodging it as much as they have been, but this is what they should have been doing a few minutes ago, and they're falling. They gave a pretty sizable lead at this point. Luckily, Liquid still has a gold lead. Fnatic still playing very well, though. They have the map control. They can do Roshan when it comes back up, and Liquid can't really do anything about it at this point. And Lifestealer is kind of getting out of control, too. He will have his AC pretty soon, although he's been sitting inside Hani for quite some time.
Now, yeah, this is kind of...
they're pinging out on Koinkfa.
Yep, this is the chance we saw Fnatic take with, throwing out the Gale and trying to catch the Bear, but Koinkfa able to recall it.
It's going to be a long Roshan spawn, too.
Yep. But we saw Fnatic do this in game 1. Spending a lot of time with Era off the map, hanging out inside another hero. And, there is a certain amount of liability to that. He picks up his plate mail. He's not far away from his Assault Cuirass now, just...
Hani might see Fluff with his Observer Ward. Oh, no, he runs down instead of left.
And we can see they're taking control of the jungle, but Era needs to continue to farm for sure. He only needs about another 800, 900 gold to have up his Assault Cuirass 4-staff done on Bulba in the meantime. And right now, Liquid just doing their best to farm and keep them split up. Almost the Scepter up now on Way2 as well. That's certainly an important item for him.
Almost AC on the Spirit Bear as well. We see Blink Dagger come out from Hani, and Hani's been playing very, very well. I think he's been playing very well this game and last. Without his puck mobility, the game would have ended a lot earlier. Without his early Scythe and just contribution to team fights, Fnatic would have been so much further behind. and I don't actually think they're behind anymore. Well, in terms of metrics, they are, but in terms of momentum, definitely going in the way of Fnatic right now. They have the map control. Liquid is very scared for their lives, and they're able to hold a gem and retain it.
I think the issue Liquid's facing now is, a Weaver and a Lone Druid that get off to a good start in the mid game could dominate, or in the early game could dominate the mid game. But with Fnatic counter punching so well in the mid game, the Weaver and the Lone Druid take a little bit longer than an Invoker and a Lifestealer to really feel up to their potential at this stage. 30 minutes in, this is Fnatic's advantage. Even though the gold is going Liquid's way, they still need another 5 minutes or so, a couple more big items for that entire composition to feel like they want it to feel and to have its full potential. We see the Scepter's done on way too. That's certainly a step in the right direction. Here in mid, you can see some nice damage being done to the tower. Already down to half. Hani's there. He's got his blink, and we'll go after the bear. Era jumps out, and they're going to go to work on the bear. They're just going to leave it behind. And a free 300 gold going their way, but getting a fair amount of damage done. However, they did lose their last outer tier tower here on bottom.
Yep, Roshan is about to respawn too. Wow, that was a plague ward. I thought that was an observer ward. I was like, what? But now they know that Roshan is up, and I mean, they'll see them doing it because of this observer ward. They'll know that they're all running this way, but can they really do anything about it? No, absolutely not. Not at this point. Maybe with the Beastmaster Hawk, they can try something cute with another snipe, but in terms of head-on fight, no. Especially with the bear being on cooldown for 95 seconds. There is one bear up, but they really need to wait for two. Problem is, I don't really think Fnatic can push up to T3 right now. They really just need to find ganks, and then once it's 5-on-4, then they can push up to T3.
Just trying wanted to see the showcase view. Haven't had a chance to try it yet, but or at least not to try from a caster's point of view. But while we have
for it in as a caster.
I don't know. You can click the little button that's on their portrait. I'm not sure what the actual in-game hotkey is, but it won't work right now.
I see.
Yeah. But anyway.
Free camera only.
Yeah, no. I don't know what's up with that. I think it's got to be unpaused. But we'll find out here in a second. I'll click it real quick. Nope, not allowed to do it. Valve, please. Nerf Dire Tide. Here comes Fnatic back out. They actually are going to... Oh, they're going to catch Way2. Arrow will miss on Era, and Way2 going to be blown up now. Brought down, and don't think he has buyback.
Roshan for them.
Yep.
Wow, uses the zombies to try and kill the familiars. That's not happening.
Yep, they're going to make it up to the high ground. And aware of what happened last time, they don't want to see it happen again. We're going to see Fly sit up in lane here. Roche now being beaten upon. And Liquid, looks like they do want to challenge it. They know what's going on. Fnatic with Trixie and Fly up on the high ground. Hawk's going to be sent out to scout. There's Visage familiars moving in. Get the stun off on Era. And a couple of Plague Wards doing some decent damage. Roche still at half health. Way2's back up in 8 seconds. They don't have any outer tier towers to TP to, so he would have to hoof it. They're slowing this down as effectively as they effectively as they can, not wanting to allow the same thing to happen when the Aegis was denied by Way2 the first time around. And looks like they are going to go ahead and spread out and maybe try to take a fight afterwards. Doesn't look like they're really actually going to try to challenge them.
Yeah, I think they just wasted too much time there. Like, did they really slow down Fnatic that much? Not really. I think they should have just been split pushing, especially with this T2 already down on top lane. They can threaten to T3, which is what they need to do. They still need to delay the game a little bit longer. They have the BKB on Weaver. They have the AC on the Lone Druid, but I think it's just maybe not enough at this point. I still think they need Ghost Scepters. We see a gem actually on Mirana too. But they are still just going to flop if one of them gets teched out. So I think the Force Staff usage by Boba is going to be really, really important for them. If like Koikva or even the Bear or Weaver dies early in the fight, I think that Fnatic just sweeps the racks.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially with the Aegis up on Era. They need a pick is what they need. They really need to bring down the Invoker, maybe even the Clockwork.
Well, Hani's not there. They should fight if they have vision of Fnatic right now.
And right now, they're just trying to hang back. There's now the Scepter done on the Invoker, so he's certainly continued up his item progression quite well. The gold still has remained in Liquid's favor, has never been in Fnatic's favor the entire game. But again, the momentum and just the state of the strengths of the composition.
Oh, Fluff, we'll see Trixie. He has a gem. Uh-oh, this is bad.
Fluff.
Wow, he pretty much just straight up walked into him.
And there you go.
The gem.
And, yep, he sees it dropped on the outside, pinging it out. Here comes the rest of Fnatic to try and sweep it up. In the meantime, this is going to create an opportunity for Liquid as they're going to try to collapse. The Hawk leading the way, No Tail's there. Fly making his way out. He's spotted by the creeps. They're just going to go for a kill on No Tail. They're actually going to roar this out. Down goes the Tombstone behind the fight. 4 staffs onto the safe side of him. And they take a free one.
They get a gem of their own.
Yep.
That was a really important kill. They do need the gem. They do need to take this ward out that is right here, and just make sure Fnatic doesn't have vision of their jungle. So they spend as much time as possible just running around, not really doing anything. And still the gold leads slightly in favor of Liquid, but it's pretty much been at this 2,500 gold mark for almost the past 20 minutes at this point. Quickfire doing his job, split pushing on top. Maybe needs a BKB for his bear too. I have seen that build before. It is fairly useful. But yeah, oh, there goes the tornado. Will whiff.
Came up a bit short, and Hani, the passenger for Era. And Liquid, looks like they are going to try to run a split push kind of a style here. They use their Moonlight Shadow to try and force Fnatic to withdraw the hard way. There's an arrow. He caught Fly. Caught him through the woods. Can they get there in time? Fly will be coming out of it. Nope, uses the mech. There's the roar onto him. And down he goes.
And the second gem. Oh, goodness. Oh, Fnatic, why give up the free gems?
Yep. I don't know why they were hanging around here at all. I don't know what the plan was. They didn't have their full team. They were split up. And they weren't even
Now
like...
it's dewarded too.
If they were in a position where it looked like they were trying to take a fight.
TC.
Here we go. TC caught out, hexed down, and Era's there to blow him up. That's going to get one of their gems back. And the rest of Liquid needs to retreat.
Both teams just sticking around way too long in the bottom lane. They've known he's had a Scythe and a Blink for quite some time. I don't know why he's still stuck around there. Way too may get picked off too.
There's nice stuns with the familiars, and they got Arrow with the arrow that was dodged by Hani.
They have to pull back right now. Koipa's going to be pushing top and getting damage on a T3. They cannot allow that right now. The creep wave's all the way back here, so they can't actually push themselves. There is Undying up there, but can he really stop a Lone Druid with AC and Radiance from pushing? I don't think so.
And I think you said it best. Both teams just overestimating how safe they are. You know, it's one thing to move out with a purpose. They were just kind of hanging around that bottom lane, and both teams taking advantage of it. It ends up being a net split in gems, as both were given away at one point, but now one on each team. And, yeah, the Radiant Bear doesn't even have to do anything. He can just stand here and melt creep waves, get free gold, and there you go. And,
yeah. I think Fnatic just needs to retain map control, which they have been doing, and they got their gem back, so they can keep that up. And then just take out another Roshan, get Aegis and Cheese, and just keep looking for picks on Liquid. Like the Blink Scythe plus Infest Bomb is just so painful from Liquid. None of their heroes can survive it right now. Not even with like one more big item. Oh, there is the BKB on the bear. They can probably win a 5-on-5 at this point, not against Aegis and Cheese, but a straight up 5-on-5. I think Liquid is finally strong enough to do so.
Saw the chat trivia pop up. Which two heroes have a 70% win rate across 10-plus matches here in D2L Season 4? You got any guesses, Merlini? I've got two.
That is a tough one. I would say Elder Titan is one. I don't know about number 2.
And I'm going to assume he's talking about just the West. I guess he could be referring to the East. I'm going to say Visage, just about assuredly. And probably like...
70% is high.
It is high.
That is so high.
I'm going to say Visage, though. I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. Maybe a Weaver? I don't know. Like, Weaver's been played an awful lot. Clock as well. Clock's another candidate. We've seen some good clocks and some bad clocks, though, especially if you count the East. So I'm sure Nahaz will go ahead and drop the info on us soon enough. We're at 37 minutes flat, and the gold back up to about 5,000 in favor of Liquid, so they are grinding their way back to a slight advantage. But so far, I mean... both teams kind of all over the place. I was really impressed with Fnatic earlier. I feel like they had a chance to shut the door in Liquid's face, and Liquid's been able to keep a toe in it for too long, and now we're beginning to see what we knew would come, is the Weaver and the Druid just needed approximately one or two more, one more big item each when Fnatic was doing all of their movement.
Fnatic's lineup should be good at picking them off, though. They have the hook shot and they have the Blink Hex Invoker Nake's Bomb.
Right.
So, I mean, they should be getting more picks, but they're only up by 8 kills and they're still behind in gold. And looking at the net worth chart, we see Lone Druid still like way on top of anybody else, too. And Weaver is pretty close to the Lifestealer, too. So, Fnatic, they've been getting kills, but have they been getting enough? Yeah, I mean, they're up by 8. They just a little bit behind where I think they want to be at this point.
BKB actually the pickup on the Lone Druid. Don't see that super often. See it a bit more now. Storm Spirit and Gyro. Wow.
Wow.
Way off on that.
Oh.
No Tail eats an arrow from absolute left field. No follow-up, though, as Fluff shot that one just to scout out and managed to do a bit of damage because of it. We see another lock and load from Hani and Era, and they're going to double back through mid while the team collapses towards mid coming through the Radiant jungle. This is another big opportunity for them. Way2 and TC sniffing it out, though, decide to go ahead and get out of dodge.
Yeah, and Spirit Bear just split pushing on top. They cannot afford to die right now because they'll just give up a free Roshan in the process, or potentially a free Roshan. They don't know that it's not up yet. And Gale goes out on the familiars, and looks like they will get a resummon off.
Yep. Resummon instead of losing them, probably the right call. The bear.
Oh, they're going to go gank the bear.
And Quakeva, quick on it, recalls it back.
Wait, they may get a kill on Hani. Hani doesn't actually have a blink, and his team's not close around. This could be very disastrous for Hani right now.
There it is, the roar. Era's inside, too. It could be a twofer. And he's bursted down, and out comes Era. Era bursted down just as quickly, and what a disaster for Fnatic in this top lane. Healing up on the bear a bit, but the rest of his team has no point of access. And he will be burned down. Now, Trixie needs to get the hell out of here. No telling Trixie hung around. He drops the cogs. They will chew through it. The familiars are right on his tail. He's going to have to hook to fly just to secure his own escape. And that could be a game-changing moment. Fnatic was at least still in possession of the momentum, as we had talked about. But now in the Invoker and Liquid just now beginning to peak with these last big items coming out on Quakeva and TC. This is their time to shine as we roll just towards 40 minutes.
Wow, that was just a big misplay by Hani. Like, if they had their whole team there, yeah, Nyx just pops out and they counter-initiate. They try and force staff out. Do they actually have any force staffs? I mean, they can try and get out of there. But, yeah, with just two of their strongest heroes caught out alone like that without any supporting cast, I mean, that was just a crucial mistake, letting Liquid just take a commanding lead in this game now. Probably 10,000 gold after that, and they can attempt the Roshan. Looks like it won't be up for another 20 seconds. But that's still like the minimum respawn time, almost 1 minute.
Yep. And I'm sure it'll be spotted out soon. Bulba will be sending the Hawk over before long, and we can see that's actually probably an unfortunate rocket flare if he takes that and goes okay and doesn't check for another minute and a half, as the Hawk will see it. There it is. Just spawned, immediately pinged out by Bulba. And we'll see how they want to take it. Will there be another rocket check? I just heard him shoot the flare. Don't know what direction.
I think Venom might place a Warden there. Are they going to smoke again? Yep, here's this 5-man smoke right before the Roshan. This is actually only a 3-man smoke because Trixie is in top with an infested Era. Fluff will get out of there, and they are lucky for a pick, but both teams can definitely do Roshan in a matter of like 10 to 15 seconds. The problem is like Liquid is still a little bit scared because Fnatic's 5-on-5 is a little bit stronger, and they can't really split up because of the pick-off potential that they have. And looks like they are going to ping out Roshan and just do it right now. I think Liquid knows, but they can't really get there in time, not at this point.
And Hani, the one to scout it out. Liquid withdrawing due to the absence of heroes, knowing there was a smoke underway.
Here's the Hawk. They can do something about it, maybe.
Yeah, it's just Hani in there right now. They're not doing damage fast enough, and Fnatic's own defensive posture there might end up costing them. Yep, Moonlight Shadow's there. They're going to challenge this. Big Roche fight could determine the game. TC, BKBs, Trixie cogs in, but he's being blown up. He's already down. There's Alacrity on the Era. One Soul Rip keeps him alive, but the Roar's there, and now the Bear laying into Era. Blown up before he can do much of anything. Another huge loss for Fnatic, and this may well determine the outcome of the game. Fly, arrowed out, brought down, and Liquid. And I'll tell you what was so unfortunate about that. Fnatic, I just misread the map. Liquid was, as you said, just in such a position. They were basically all back near the line I just drew on the mini-map. And I think Fnatic assumed they were already coming, so they only sent one in as Hani, trying to bait the fight out with 4 out of the pit. Then just as they ran in was when Liquid had regrouped and charged into the pit. So just a misread of the map and a big, big win going the way of Liquid.
Yeah, that was just disastrous by Fnatic. And I mean, first over here, and then now they don't have buybacks for that particular fight. Now that they've given up the Roach, the Aegis, and the G's, I just don't see Fnatic coming back from this. They played so well in that early mid game. They pretty much just have one good fight left in them at this point.
Yeah, and it's such a shame. And again, that's the kind of thing you can't really blame them that much. Again, that Roche fight, just a bit of a misread, assuming they would be there earlier than they were. So he just tried to hook in and hit the Hawk. Oh, wow. Fluff was right here, and he tried to hook in and hit the Hawk right there. Anyway.
This is potentially the last fight.
And there's the tornado. Do they want to come in off of it? Liquid in a very nice spread. There's the hook in. He managed to catch nothing but a creep. And now Trixie arrowed out. Still has Era infested. He's blown up. Era's trapped inside the cogs, going one-on-one with the bear. Another roar, soul rip, and a mech keeps him up a little longer, but just being waylaid at this point. Fly pops the ulti. And Liquid's a little bottleneck. The damage just isn't there, though. Druid brings down the tower. There's the Scythe of Ice on the second resummon of the Spirit Bear. And this is their last stand. Gale goes off and caught a couple. They do lose the racks. Hani eats an arrow, though. Bulba's right there to go to work. Down he goes. No-Tail uses the Poison Nova. Fly, last man standing. Up at the front anyway. That's a full set of racks. They're going to be able to rotate to the top as the creep's already pushed up. This is probably going to be our GG. And everything, yep, there it is. Fnatic played so well between 20 and 35 minutes, but it just wasn't enough. They just couldn't get enough work done. Liquid grinds it out, never trailed in gold in the entire game, and jumped up to plus 20,000 by the time all was said and done. Liquid takes the win, and with that win, if Liquid secures a win against Mouse, they are the undisputed second seed finisher and are heading towards the playoffs. They're going to be waiting at the grand finals of the bubble seed playoffs for a chance to go to Vegas. What an outstanding performance here in this series. But even more so, what an outstanding performance they've put together throughout the entire Western Division.
Yeah, just really being efficient around the map, I think, is what Liquid is extremely good at. And yeah, they'll give up deaths here and there, but they retained the gold advantage the whole entire game and just didn't give Fnatic enough kills. And Fnatic, I mean, they were leading 19-11. They had map control, they had the gem, they had Roshan control, they had everything going for them, and then just a couple of slip-ups, and then Liquid completely capitalizes on it. And that's the thing about Liquid. You give them a small opportunity, or I guess a big one, and you just can't come back from that big of a mistake.
Yeah, the execution was just there. And Fnatic certainly looked a lot better in Game 2, but in the end, just another really well-won series by Liquid, and they are on fire. They have been playing well elsewhere, too, not just here in the D2L. But, I mean, again, it's not to downplay how good their team was. I mean, anyone who looked at their lineup and saw the names and the experience that they had between them knew this was going to be a good team once they assembled and begun to play together. But I don't think anyone coming into D2L Season 4 expected them to be sitting now tied with Na'Vi. And they're not. In fact, they're not just tied. If I'm not mistaken, they already moved into the secure second seed, according to the total standings. So, Fnatic, though, they're definitely a playoff-bound team. Their next test and last test in the D2L going to be tomorrow against EG, which for Fnatic, it matters for seeding. For EG, though, it's do or die time. If EG's able to get a win over Fnatic tomorrow, they'll be playoff-bound. If not, it'll be Virtus Pro joining Fnatic, Team Liquid, Na'Vi in the playoffs. So 8-6, another nice performance from Way2 on Visage. That's 11 games in a row now. Way2 has won on that hero. At some point, you got to start to ban the V-Man. Bulba 5-3, and other than that, just kind of quiet behind that. I mean, only 1, 2, and 7 on Quakeba, but doing the job he needed to do, freeing the map up. Weaver, same story. And Fnatic falls once again 0-2 here on the front end of our Team Liquid doubleheader. Took him 44 minutes, 18 seconds to notch a Game 2 win. 20-19, Liquid reclaimed the kill score just there towards the end. 39 total kills, and this series is in the books. I'm your host here in AC Chambers. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast once again, guys. This is a doubleheader day, a Team Liquid doubleheader day, as they look to finish out their schedule against Mouse coming up next. That's going to be in about an hour. So, make sure you stick around. Connie, what streams are on? Where can we send them? He's looking right now. Always like to tell folks what's going on elsewhere. Okay. We're not sure when. Okay, so Na'Vi versus Empire on Tech Labs. We're not sure when that's going to start, so maybe you can check that out in the interim. We can get the Twitter addresses up as well. I'm EC and Merlini Dota, the guy that is dropping the knowledge, and there they are. Make sure you follow us both on Twitter at AC for me and Merlini Dota, obviously, at Merlini Dota. Where else can they find you as well, Merlini? I mean, a lot of folks love the inside analysis you provide here on the D2L, and I'm sure there are a lot who would love to track you down elsewhere and really pick your brain, or at least listen to other people pick your brain.
You can follow my YouTube channel at youtube.com/MerliniDota, as well as my Facebook and personal stream, twitch.tv/MerliniDota. Thanks, guys, for watching. Be sure to tune in for our second best of 3. Liquid is on quite the roll lately.
No joke. Liquid, again, notching a 2-0 win over Fnatic, and looking very good coming into the last series. They're heavily favored against Mouse, but this Mouse Sports squad, no slouch either. And hope you guys will stick around, or at least be back, I should say, here in just about, again, an hour. Meantime, go find a stream, go play a game of Dota, go play Dire Time, because that's what everyone's doing. That's why the servers don't work half the time. But, all right, guys, we'll see you back in 60 minutes. Once again, second series of the day will be Team Liquid versus Mal Sports here on the HyperX D2L. We'll be right back.